A 23-year-old kid from a small town in Michigan just got cleared to drive on a Navy base runway ride on an aircraft carrier and go toe-to-toe with active military personnel. And now he's coming home to prove something at the track where it all nearly came together last year. Carson Hocevar is not your typical NASCAR driver, and right now he might be the most interesting story in the entire Cup Series. Here's the setup. Hocevar was one of 6 Cup Series drivers, alongside Christopher Bell, Chase Briscoe, Ryan Blaney, Noah Gragson, and Connor Zilisch, who spent 3 days in San Diego filming a promotional piece called NASCAR vs. Navy, the San Diego mini-movie. It drops June 5th. These drivers took on real tactical challenges at Naval Base Coronado. We're talking runway drives, aircraft carriers, military pilots, real stuff. Then on top of that, this weekend Hocevar heads back to Michigan International Speedway, a track 90 miles from where he grew up, for the FireKeepers Casino 400. And he's not just running the Cup race. He's doubling up in the Truck Series too. The man is not here to take days off. Let's put this in perspective. Hocevar sits 9th in Cup Series points right now, 1 win, 6 top 10 finishes in 14 races. For a 23-year-old in his second full Cup season, those are numbers that demand attention. But Michigan, that one stings, and it should. Last year at this exact track, Hocevar was leading the final segment. He had the car, he had the pace. Then a blown tire ended it. A home state win, gone in an instant. That kind of moment either breaks young drivers or builds them. Based on how this season has gone, Hocevar clearly fell into the second category. Now add the Navy film project. This isn't just a fun PR stunt. NASCAR is actively working to expand its cultural footprint. Military partnerships, cinematic content, influencer crossover. Hocevar being part of that is a signal that the sport sees him as a marketable face, not just a point scorer. Here's what makes Hocevar's trajectory so compelling right now. He's running a double at Michigan Cup in trucks, which tells you everything about how he approaches competition. Most drivers at his points position would protect themselves. Rest, stay focused on one race. Hocevar signed up for both. That either shows supreme confidence in his own ability to manage fatigue, or it tells you his team believes his racecraft is sharp enough to absorb that workload without hurting his Sunday result. Strategically, the double also gives him more laps on a track where he clearly wants revenge. There's no better prep for a Cup race than hours of competitive driving on the same surface the day before. Now the Navy project, that's a different kind of conversation. Hocevar mentioned he went off script by the end of filming, improvising lines and leaning into the creative process. That matters. Drivers who can handle unstructured environments, who adapt rather than retreat, tend to carry that same instinct into race cars. He's not rigid, he figures things out in real time. The Cleetus McFarland connection is also worth noting. McFarland, or Garrett Mitchell, has built a legitimate dual brand as both a race driver and a content creator with nearly 5 million YouTube subscribers. Hocevar openly admires that hustle. He sees content creation as a natural extension of what he loves, not a distraction from it. In today's NASCAR landscape, that kind of personal brand awareness is genuinely valuable. Sponsors notice it, fans connect to it, and networks want drivers who can exist beyond the race result. The risk? Spreading too thin. Double race weekends, film projects, media commitments. At 23, with championship aspirations starting to look plausible, the question of focus will eventually come up. When does the off-track stuff become a competitive liability? NASCAR fans are absolutely buying on Hocevar. You've got a Michigan kid, humble roots, strong results, and he's out here filming military content with real Navy personnel. That combination plays well across essentially every demographic the sport wants to reach. The more analytical NASCAR community will zero in on that tire blowout from last season and ask whether Michigan sets up as a statement moment or a frustrating sequel. There's genuine suspense here. And the Cleetus McFarland crowd, that fan base is loud and loyal. Hocevar's connection to that world gives him a crossover audience that most Cup drivers don't have access to. Hocevar wins or podiums at Michigan, converting last year's Heartbreak into a breakthrough moment on home soil. The Navy film generates genuine media buzz, expanding his national profile well beyond the NASCAR bubble. By mid-season, he's a legitimate dark horse playoff conversation. Rain delays create chaos. The double-duty weekend wears on him physically, and Michigan ends in another forgettable finish. The off-track momentum means nothing if the car doesn't deliver results. Critics start asking whether the extra commitments are pulling his attention in the wrong direction. Carson Hocevar has quietly become one of the more complete personalities in the Cup Series, on the track, in front of a camera, and apparently on an aircraft carrier. The question now is whether Michigan becomes the race that defines his 2025 season, or just another entry in the highlight reel he's still building. What do you think? Is Hocevar a legitimate championship threat before he turns 25, or is the hype still running a lap or two ahead of the results? Drop your take in the comments. This one's worth debating. And if you want more breakdowns like this, real analysis, not just recaps, make sure you're subscribed. We cover the stories that actually matter.